Okay, so I'm going to give you 3 presentation closing tips specifically designed for agents new to selling final expense life insurance. If you're a new agent, you're just about to go out there and start selling, you're nervous about how are you going to sell this stuff, what are you going to say when the pressure's on and you're about to get the close, or are you going to get the close? What can you take and utilize in your presentation to more confidently ask for the business and more likely know that you're going to get it? If that's what you're interested in, this is the video to watch. My name is David Duford, owner of the Ford Insurance Group. I train and recruit agents nationally to sell things like final expense, Medicare, and annuities, both face-to-face and over the phone. Please make sure you like this video if you happen to, and make sure you subscribe if you like the content. And if you'd like to learn more about my agency, I do recruit agents. Of course, I already said that. And click the links above or below, and you'll learn more. So let's get right to the content today, and that is 3 presentation closing tips for new final expense agents. So number 1 here is specifically tell your client why you're recommending a certain company or program. There's an essence of sales where you are the authority figure. You're the advisor. If you're at the close, you should have established some sort of authority and knowledge and kind of hierarchical relationship where the prospect is doing what you tell them to do because they look at you, they look up to you on some level as an expert. But here's the thing. One of the things you can't ever take for granted is not explaining things to a prospect in a way to help them grasp why a certain recommendation is being made over another. For example, you want to tell somebody what to do as a salesperson, assuming it's in their best interest, of course. That's your job, really, after all. But you want to make sure that you explain why you're also recommending that. Because what you're essentially dealing with here in sales is people buy emotionally and justify the purchase logically. They want to have peace of mind, but they don't want to get ripped off or have a bad deal, right? So when you're at the end of the sales call and you're pulling out the company you had in mind, what I would recommend is to tell them why you're suggesting this company. And many times the reason why is directly related to the underwriting outcome or the pricing outcome. So this isn't something that has to be complex. In fact, it doesn't have to be some super well thought out reason why. It just needs to sound like it makes sense and is practical and relevant to the client's needs. For example, if I have a client who has diabetic neuropathy at the time of this filming, and I recommend Trinity Life, Royal Neighbors, or Standard Life and Casualty, when I get done explaining a little bit about the company, I'm going to say the reason I'm recommending this company to you is because this company is one of the few companies out there that gives you first day full coverage even if you have diabetic neuropathy, because most of them, guess what, are going to decline you or make you wait 2, maybe even 3 years. So I'm suggesting this because you are protected. You get peace of mind from the very first day you make your first premium. That's great, isn't it? So now I've given them confidence in the recommendation I gave them because of something specific to them. Now, what if you're talking to somebody who's healthy? Well, hey, I'm recommending this company because they've got great rates, they do a great job of covering, and they're going to give you total peace of mind, first day full coverage from the first payment date. It can be as simple as that too, but you need to tell them why you're recommending that particular company. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Okay, continuing on here. Number 2, confidently recommend a specific amount and tell them why. So this delves us further into the presentation, okay, at the close. We've told them what company we're recommending. We told them why. And then we showed them the prices. There's a couple of different options. The next thing you need to do is tell them which one of those to buy. Tell them what you recommend and why. Okay, again, there's this process here. You tell them what to do and you explain why. Okay? So if I have my options on the table, I've presented it to the client. There's the good, the better, and the best. I say, Mrs. Prospect, here are your options for coverage. You've got the $5,000, the $10,000, and the $15,000 for $50, $75, and $100 a month. My recommendation is to pick either the second one, the $10,000, or the third one, the $15,000, because you told me you're concerned about having enough to bury you and have a little bit extra because you're convinced prices will just keep going up, or you want to make sure you have a little extra to cover those final expenses. And that $10,000 or that $15,000 is going to do an absolute great job for you. So what I've done here is essentially an extension of what I did earlier. Here's the company and why I recommend it. Well, now here's the coverage, and here's what I tell you to do based off of what you told me you want, okay? And again, what does this do? It allows your client to better believe more confidently that the decision they're going to make is a good one and makes sense, okay? You need to tell them why you're recommending it. You're the salesperson. You're the expert. You know what you're doing. Your client, in a way, is expecting you to tell them what to do. It's crazy. It took a long time for me to get. Like, I'm very laissez-faire, kind of libertarian mentality, here's your options, do what you want. But people want to be told what to do if you are a respected and trusted advisor. That helps them take that leap of faith to make a commitment, because that's the thing that's happening here, folks. People are committing to something that they're stuck with the rest of their life. I mean, ideally, right? Till they die and it pays out. So you got to go into this with confidence in the close and tell them why you're recommending what you are. Because if you don't, if you're not confident, you don't give a recommendation, you just show price without enthusiasm, without specificity, without complete confidence, you lose the deal. Pretty much that easy. People lose confidence in you if you don't have confidence in you. So point number 3 down here is only show 3 prices right at the end on a clean sheet of paper, then close. So let me explain to you kind of the thought process here. And this is relevant if you're doing face-to-face or over the phone for sure. If you're face-to-face, what I want you to do is take a clean sheet of paper, maybe the back of your printed off lead card, or just have some extra loose leaf paper. You write those 3 prices that I mentioned earlier along with the coverage amounts above them. And then you show that whole thing to the prospect, stand by them, kind of get on their side, sit over on the couch next to them, wherever they're at, or by the kitchen table, show them the prices, make your recommendation, and then say, closing statement, the only one you ever need in final expense, which one of these options do you want to go with today? That's the only statement you need to know because it absolutely works. I've only said it probably 3,000 times and got an option selected half the time, so 1,500 policies, thereabouts. It works. You don't need anything else other than that. Now, if you're over the phone, what you want to do is something similar. Grab a sheet of paper, write this down, 15,000, 75, 20,000, 100, 25,000, 125. Recommendation. Which one do you want to go with? Same thing, but you got to physically have them write that down. The couple of things here that I want to clarify. That's how we close. That's my recommendation for new agents to close. But I want to explain again why we do it this way. So first of all, there's an illusion of choice. There's this idea that the more choice you have, the better decision you're going to make. That's bullshit. Excuse me. It really is. I don't know why Starbucks works so well, and you can go in and order some crazy drink that, like my wife orders. I just get the black coffee, keep it simple. But in every other aspect of life, too many choices leads to confusion. It leads to self-doubt. And when you have self-doubt and you're confused, do you make a commitment? Do you make a decision? No, you don't. You just stay in the same lane you always have. You don't take that leap of faith. What people desperately want in life is simplification. They don't want complication. Tell me what's good and make a recommendation and I'll buy it. That's ultimately what people really are vying and hoping you'll do. So that's why we show 3 choices. You could even show 2 choices, okay, if you really wanted to. That might even be better. But I always use 3. It worked really well. When I started showing 4 or 5 on the occasional deal, it just too much information. Don't fall victim to that. Give that price range. Stick to your guns, okay? And those 3 options, the good, better, best option. We like to use a clean sheet of paper because we don't want to distract the client with other information. Maybe they'll read your lead card and get away from the prices if you write it on the lead card or something else. It needs to be, you need their ideas or their mind or their eye focused on what matters, and that's the prices presented to them. The other thing is we don't show prices one at a time or tell them one at a time because we want them to think about making a comparison that these are 3 options you're going to buy. And when you dole out the prices individually and you just verbalize it and you don't write it down, people forget what you said. But if it's right there in front of you, you can easily choose the options. Again, you simplify it. It makes it easier for somebody to buy. And you don't, of course, talk price at all. Pro tip for you new agents, don't talk about what this is going to run until right before you ask for the business. Which one do you want to go with today? Why? Because if you start talking price and you give specific price amounts for certain coverage amounts before you've gone through the entirety of the presentation, guess what? Your client's made their mind up. Even if you've provided value or not, usually you haven't if you jump the shark too soon, then your client's fixated on the price. They don't listen as well to the value proposition, and you got a client who's closed their mind off to you because you gave the price before you gave the value. So bottom line, when you close, clean sheet of paper. 3 options, not a lot of options. Tell them why you're recommending that price amount. Then say, which one do you want to go with today? And of course, earlier, tell them why you're recommending the specific company you are, usually referencing pricing or referencing underwriting reasons why. And if you use all this technique here at the end of the sales call, guys, it's gonna be fine. You're gonna close the deal, trust me. Most of the time, if you've followed a process pre-qualifying, you know they're a good prospect, they're sold on you, they're sold on the company, they're sold on the product, whole life versus the other options. They're going to buy from you because you're delivering this confidently. And that's kind of the trick here at the close, guys. Be confident. Double down on your enthusiasm. Be excited. They're about to give you their money, okay? So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this kind of content, make sure you subscribe and like the video. And if you'd like this kind of training all the time, every single day, guys, this is what I do at the Ford Insurance Group with final expense agents. I'm passionate about training. You have got to get trained up to be successful in this business. 90% plus of agents fail in their first year. Don't be a statistic. Part of that reason why is they weren't well trained enough. So if you think training's valuable, you want to learn more how it works at the Ford Insurance Group, here's what you need to do. Go to the links above or below. Learn more about how my agency works at the FAQ page. And if you like it, if it makes sense for you, you'll see what the next steps are and proceeding and joining. So thanks so much for watching. Y'all take care. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.